Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is Ship Updates. Now, right off the bat, one of the things that we heard on Reverse the Verse today was that the Herald is still in limbo and is currently not being worked on. Do you guys remember a time, I mean, pretty much like a year ago now, when the Merlin and the Herald were going to be the next two hangar ready ships? Do you guys remember that? Like spring, late winter, spring 2015. We were told that, oh yeah, the Herald or the Merlin is going to be the next hangar ready ship. We can't tell you exactly which right now, but it's looking pretty good. These are going to be the next two ships. And, well, then again, this time last year, we were also, getting really close to playing Star Marine. So, anyways, yeah, Herald's still on hold. They are bouncing around names for the Drake Interceptor slash Buccaneer, and the name that they've been bouncing around is the Monarch. Now, I realize sometimes when I make these videos and I suggest things, sometimes people say, oh, who are you to tell CIG? You just let them figure it out on their own and blah blah blah. Monarch, Monarch is a terrible name for a pirate fighter. Marauder. I mean, it doesn't have to be that, but let's start off on the right footing. Marauder is a badass name. And begin. Monarch. Some really cool news, though, for people who are interested in salvaging or mining and can't afford one of these at $325 and $350, is they are looking at some new concept ships apart from the concepts of the small corvette, the Drake Interceptor slash Monarch, and oh my God, what's the third one? What was the third one again? Oh well, whatever. I'll go back through my notes. I can't believe I forgot it, but I did. They're looking at a possible new mining and salvaging ship concept, and these would probably be the small mining and salvage ships that we have heard them talk about before, but hadn't been acknowledged as being concepted. Well, it seems that they're being concepted now. So, for those of you who are interested in those two professions, but don't have the big bucks to shell out for one of these, chances are you will have something up for sale pretty soon. When it'll be delivered, probably not for a while. Much like the Reclaimer and the Orion, I mean, I suppose an argument could be made in favor of the Reclaimer because, there's already wrecks floating around in space, and players certainly do create some of those. But, mining, a lot of people would say so too because there's already asteroids, but the asteroids that are in the game right now are simply placeholders, and they're not the voxel-based asteroids that can be blown up or mined, which is something we found out a little bit about, I believe, on this week's RTV. So, I mean, I suppose an argument could be made for the Reclaimer, but when you look at the Reclaimer and how big it is, or the Orion as well, how big those ships are, and how much time it would take to actually kind of get out the interior, get the interiors together, get the entire thing together. I mean, just look at how long it's taking to get the Starfarer. I mean, we saw shots of the Starfarer, I think, back in December and early January, where we were almost thinking that the Starfarer looked finished, and that just that is still yet to materialize. Even though we were we were told last month, but hopefully this month. No promises yet that we would be seeing that ship. I mean, if you think about the Reclaimer and the Orion, chances are the smaller versions of the ship would probably, I mean, for me, logically, I would think that those would probably get in first just because they would help you test out the mechanics, and it wouldn't take as long to get smaller ships done as it would take to get larger ships done. But obviously that's just speculation on my part, and that is all going to be in the future. How distant or how close has yet to be determined. Now, some good news relative to 2.2. It seems most likely that the enhanced or the physical based EVA system is going to be in 2.2. Seems likely. Well, for 2.2 as well, there's also a pretty strong undercurrent in the community that seems to think that the Saber is going to be flyable in 2.2, and possibly that the Xeon Scout is going to be at least hangar ready in 2.2. It seems like both these ships are moving along well, and haven't really kind of hit the snags that the poor Herald has hit. I mean, the Herald is it's becoming a bit of like a comical tragedy at this point, because I mean, I still remember, like, last year when Ben was like, oh yeah, it's going to be one of the next ships, and then it's just like still not here. But yeah, there's a lot of people who seem to think that both the Car-2 and the Saber are very, very close. Now, whether that's wishful thinking or informed guessing, we don't know. But I am going to side with the Saber being flyable in 2.2. I feel pretty strongly about that. Not strongly enough to put money down, but I feel good. But I mean, maybe I'm just being hopeful. Now, we also found out that the Argo will be on sale. The Argo is, of course, that sort of like little runabout service ship that comes with the Idris. That ship is going to be going on sale at some point, or should at least be on sale. They have the intention to sell it, they were saying on RTV today, but no date or even vague time frame has been set for that. Also, there was a little bit of a clarification today that just about any ship that isn't a companion ship to a larger ship, so, obviously things like the P-72, the Merlin, the 85X, the little cutting ship that's supposed to come with the Reclaimer, which a lot of people actually forget or don't actually know, is that the Reclaimer actually comes with one of those little runabout ships, but it's used for like kind of cutting into things and whatnot. A lot of those ships will not have jump drives, but everything else will be, pretty much have the option to install a jump drive, if not having already a jump drive installed in them. And actually, Ben went on to talk about that there would be more stealthy jump drives, there would be longer range jump drives, like you would get multiple jumps out of them, and presumably before you need to refuel them. And so there would be actually a wide range for different purposes of jump drives that you could actually purchase for your ships. So most ships that are not a companion ship to a much larger ship will have a jump drive, if not the option to include a jump drive. So for like a lot of people, and this is going back, I think, way in the beginning of Star Citizen, they were kind of looking for jump drives to be kind of like in the original Privateer game. If any of you have ever played that, by the way, it was a very awesome game, but the controls are somewhat limiting, so I would warn you about that before you go and buy it. But I'm pretty sure you can get it from Origin for like $10 now. Anyways, back then, when you were playing the original Privateer, you had to build up some cash before you could actually put a jump drive on your Tarsus and then go to the next system. And so I believe, Ben was saying it is, or implying it is, the original idea with Star Citizen is you would have to go and get a jump drive before you could start to jump around and explore the entire universe, much like the original Privateer. But I guess that idea has been more or less been shelved, and they're just going with, you'll have a jump drive and you'll just be able to go. And I mean, honestly, if you go and you check out Privateer, a lot of the guesswork that I make as to what the PU is going to be like is based off of having played Privateer 1, to a lesser extent Privateer 2 and Freelancer. That's kind of where a lot of my theories come from. And there are times when I really wish that I could still fly my Centurion in this game. I really miss that ship. The Starfarer. Going back to the Starfarer, sorry. The Starfarer is a ship that's almost in capital in size, and that's why it's taking so long for them to get it done. They've been telling us. They said it's basically like almost an entire FPS level in space. So, the reason why we don't have it yet is because they want to go back and kind of redo some things and really kind of deliver it in a in a proper state that they're pleased with, at least the detail level in the interiors and the quality of the overall model. I mean, if you remember when we all got the 2.0 PTU, and it was like Vanguard and Hangar, Vanguard and Hangar, and everyone was looking at the Vanguard, and it was just like, there were sections missing that just said work in progress and all that stuff, and it was kind of, I mean, overall you saw the ship, but I think kind of a little bit underwhelming. And then of course 2.1 came out, and all of a sudden it was just like boom, wow, okay. So obviously I think that they're not trying to repeat the 2.0 Vanguard to the 2.1 Vanguard, when it was just like practically night and day. Now of course Vanguard issues continue. I'm going to continue to refrain to comment on that for a little while, because clearly that is a very heavy-duty argument going on between people over the Vanguard and what kind of ship they think the Vanguard should be. I'm going to hold off a little bit. I'm going to wait and see what CIG says when they finally say something about the Vanguard, but it seems like the Vanguard is kind of I mean, especially if you look at the subforum for the different ships and ship manufacturers, it seems like the Vanguard hasn't gotten the best of receptions. And yeah, I mean, you can go check out that forum yourself. It's I think that CIG, when they're kind of looking at bringing the Starfarer into the universe, maybe the recent experience of the Vanguard is kind of weighing on that a little, and they're kind of like, okay, we really want to knock this one out of the park. So hopefully we'll get it in 2.2, but they haven't made any promises yet. Lastly, the Banu Merchantman. A lot of people have been asking about it, and a lot of people continue to ask for it. The Banu Merchantman is still not in development. It hasn't gotten its turn yet. They are still waiting for that ship to kind of come into development. Now, quite a while ago, I did a video called a plea for the Banu Merchantman and the Caterpillar owners. Almost a year ago, I think it was in April or May of 2015 that I put out that video, where I basically said, that these ships were pretty much like almost ships that had been concepted and sold all the way in the beginning. And this was back at a time when whenever people would ask about the Caterpillar or the Banu Merchantman, there was basically no news, and this had been going on for 2 years. And so, I kind of made a video where I was like, all these other ships are kind of getting pushed to the head of the line ahead of these two ships. These guys backed early on, and, I think something needs to be done. I think they should be pushed up in the schedule because, it's like the owners of these two ships are always being told, no news, no news, no news. And then finally, I think it was in just around the end of the summer of 2015 that Ben and Sandy announced that those two ships were being pushed right up to the head of the line, or at least being pushed way up in the schedule, because it was felt by CIG that those ships were overdue, and that people had who had backed all the way back then had waited way too long for any kind of real news about these ships, and so they were being pushed. And that's when all of a sudden we started seeing all the videos about the Caterpillar and the interior modeling and everything going along. And now that the Caterpillar is in Gurmuk's hands, where he's doing the interior concepts and the concepts for the the modules for all the different ideas of what you can attach to your Caterpillar. The Banu Merchantman is still waiting to be done, but we knew the Caterpillar would come first. So hopefully the Banu Merchantman will get moving. I personally feel that it is way, way overdue for that ship to be getting moving, even to the point where I would gladly sit aside in any of my ships, like even the Herald, if they came to me and they said, you can get your Herald next, or we can do the Banu Merchantman. I'd be, even though I don't own a Merchantman, I'd be like, do the Merchantman. For God's sakes, please do the Merchantman, because those people are dying for their ship. Enough with the JPEGs. Ship. Make ship now. And I continue to make that plea. So, please, 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 Banu Merchantman, please put it into production. And finally, RTV, they were joking about it, but it seemed that they're toying with the ideas. So if you live in the Los Angeles area, pay attention to Reverse the Verse, because they were joking and possibly being serious about the idea of later on in the year maybe doing a Reverse the Verse with a live studio audience, because they usually do the studio tours on Friday as well anyway. And so maybe, I don't know, 11 a.m. Pacific time. But they haven't set a date or promised that they're going to do it yet. But if you do live in the Los Angeles area, something to keep in mind and look out for. Anyways, that's about it for ship updates this week. I hope you enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.
Quantum travel initiated.